stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part 2 of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Agador, that's Aggedor, on Mublet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin. And welcome back to the English Defense League Radio Show with your host, Jeff Spider Mitchell, who has some tabloid trash he wants to share with us. Don't you, Jeff?
Yeah, just give me a couple of seconds or so.
That's fine, Jeff. That's fine, man. You guys, again, as I say, if you're listening to this on the Unpleasant Blind Guy page at Spreaker.com, we are live at 3:30 p.m. Eastern and at 8:30 p.m. in the UK, right? So do come and join us Thursdays and Sundays live at 3:30 p.m. Eastern in the United States and at 8:30 p.m. in the UK. I'm going to get all this right eventually, Jeff.
No, you're doing all right, Dave. Dave,
that's
wondering, while I'm just doing this, what I'm doing, maybe we can read out, if anybody wants to call in, if they're outside New York, it's where we broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. The number to call in if you're outside is 001-858-777-5934. Repeat, 001-858-777-5934 if anybody wants to call in and you're outside of the United States. So, Dave, thank you for holding the fort for a couple of minutes.
You bet, Jeff. You bet. We, and guys, we do have a big, extra 2/3 of this show to go. So, Jeff, whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Dave, something that did come. That I see a story that was that I saw on Telegram, and of course everybody was talking about it. It was the tabloids, especially the Star paper or tabloid, whatever you want to call it, the Mickey Mouse papers.
Right.
I got a story out there that Tommy Robinson was assaulted in the showers by, wait for it, Dave, a 70-year-old man. I think most of us scratched their head. Well, it seems strange that Tommy's segregated, but he's in the showers with another man.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly, Jeff. Oh, my God, man. These tabloids.
I talk about clinging to wood as the shit goes down, Well, as I say, if there is any foundation to any of the truth that maybe is out there, maybe, and I say maybe with a very cautious maybe, I'm sure if that's the situation, that Avi Yemeni is a close family, friend, and the one to be in touch with any information that we or the newspaper people like ourselves want to hear. We would find out from either Avi Yemeni or we will find out when Ezra Levin visits Tommy. He'll be flying in from Canada this Tuesday. Be flying in, he'll hit the road running, he'll get a cab to Waits of Belmarsh, which I don't know how much it's going to cost, but it's a bit of a journey, though, to tell you. And he'll have a visit with Tommy, and he wants to see exactly how Tommy is doing, if there's no wrongdoing that's going on there where Tommy's concerned, and then he will then come out. There is I know he said there's a website, and I cannot for the life of me think of it at this moment in time, but if you follow Ezra that. You probably will come across it, guys, so just check him out yourself. But as soon as he comes out of prison, he's got to jump back in a cab. He's straight to the airport and back home to Canada. What an exhausting journey that's going to be for that gentleman that day, Dave. Wow.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, he does things through donations, and he doesn't like to waste the donations that the good people give him. For this good reporting. That's the thing, Jeff. We now have to finance our own real journalism, and that's Ezra Levant for you, not these tabloid idiots. Jeff, I have to say, Mr. Spock would have been proud of you. Folks, we like to call Jeff, our Captain Kirk for the show, but he used logic for that tabloid trash. Just, as I said, that would have made Mr. Spock proud. So good on you, Jeff. That's great, man.
Thank you, Dave.
Now, you bet.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to turn to a story here that's just horrific. This comes from Ivy Yemeni, and some of you may have seen this. You won't have seen it in the fake stream media because they've been ignoring this for 2 years. Okay, I've been covering this on the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and we've been also covering it on EDL Radio and things like that. But guys, I want you to listen to this. Jeff, with your permission, I'm going to go ahead and play this from Avi Yemeni. This is diabolical, man. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it, Dave.
All right, guys. You're listening to the English Defense League radio show. This is Avi Yemeni.
A French judge has ruled that smoking weed, not Islam, is the reason a Muslim man broke into the apartment and brutally murdered an elderly Jewish woman. Kobili Taror has been accused of murdering 65-year-old Sarah Halimi in her flat in Paris on the 3rd of April 2017. Taror allegedly recited verses from the Quran as he brutally beat Miss Halimi before throwing her from a third-floor window. Allahu Akbar, I've killed the shaitan, the 29-year-old reportedly shouted. Shaitan, which is Arabic for devil, is a derogatory term used throughout Islamic scripture and by many Muslims to describe Jews.
You f***ing dickhead, man. Good job, you're shaitan, bro. Yo.
Shaitan! Love it. I am a proud shaitan. But in a ruling, the judge will decide whether Taror will stand trial, said it was possible he was not responsible for his actions because he had smoked cannabis beforehand. So, targeting a Jew, reciting the Quran, shouting Allahu Akbar and declaring he's killed the shaitan has nothing to do with his sickening crime, but smoking a blunt made him do it. I know a lot of stoners, none of which I'm worried would kill me. In fact, they're a little too chilled. I've just returned from Israel where I've been filming for Tommy Robinson's upcoming doco titled Shalom. This film, which is going to air upon Tommy's release, is going to blow the lid on the rise of these sorts of anti-Semitic attacks in Europe. One thing I certainly noticed when talking to Jews who have fled France is the common theme.
The reason why I left France was because of the growing anti-Semitism that I directly experienced there.
That is fed by Islam and by a certain way to read at the Quran and saying that Jews are the enemies and we should deal with the enemies the way you deal with enemy, meaning killing them.
And I didn't wear the kippah because I don't feel good.
I don't want to go to a country that if I don't hide my identity, people will maybe hit me or aggress me.
All I can tell you is watch this space for the full story.
And there you go, Jeff. What are your immediate comments, my friend?
What can I say, Dave? This story's so familiar. How many times have we heard this? And they make excuses because he smoked weed, that he recited the Quran, he attacked and brutally beat this lady, this older Jewish lady, and then threw her 3 floors to her death by shouting shaitan, which really means that, ladies and gentlemen, I think shaitan is a word for Satan or evil or devil, something like that, if I remember correctly. It's and quoting things from the Quran as he attacked this defenseless lady. But they're making excuses. They're making excuses for this evil person. You know, Dave, sometimes I get lost for words when I think of how evil this death cult really is. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but it's true. There's nothing positive about the cult of Islam where it's concerned. No matter what they say about it, it's try to sugarcoat it, and this has nothing to do with Islam. Islam is a religion of peace. I'm sorry to inform you, ladies and gentlemen, that peace in Islam means nothing. It doesn't mean, when we say peace, we have a meaning about peace, don't we, Dave? It means peace. Peace be with you. It means go, you know, be your soul, be at rest, and be at peace with yourself. Their meaning of peace is when everybody else has been, you know, eradicated, and it leaves this cult of death, Islam. That's when they say, I know, because I spoke to one Muslim who's, it's the first time I've ever come across one that actually admitted that once every other faith, every other religion out there has been totally eradicated, then they will have their peace in Islam. So all this, when they say, oh, Islam's the religion of peace, what they mean to say, it will be once we've eradicated you, the infidel, the kuffar, and all you other religions. Let's get it right. Figures. Let's get figures right. They something like 278 million have died at the hands of Islam in over 1,400 years plus. Is it peaceful? Everywhere it's gone, it's conquered by the sword. Everywhere it's gone, when they say this land is ours, it's never been their land. They've taken it from other people. They destroyed countries. They destroyed villages and people. Then they say, this is ours. We defeated. But that means nothing. They never owned it. They are who they are. You know, a terrible scourge upon this world. You know. Anyway, Dave, I just want to expand on that a little bit because that's the truth. That's the way I feel about things. And I know there's a lot of people that either they've got the same thoughts as me, or they might have maybe similar views. But that is my thoughts. I look at things and where we are. You know.
Yes. Well, you know, we've been working on this story since it first came out, and I have to say that it is disappointing, sad, angering. As you say, Jeff, this is all too familiar. You see a Western government, a supposedly Christian government, bending over backwards to allow a Mohammedan savage to walk for a crime, and that's really what they've been working on. The last time we visited this story, Jeff, they were trying the moldy oldie, as we know it, mental incapacity thing. Oh, well, he did it because he was mentally. He did it because he was mentally incapacitated. He wasn't in his right mind at the time. Guys, in case you haven't been following this story, when this initially happened, okay, the French government from all phases fell down. From when this initially happened, there was a call when this began in this lady's apartment, and the French police did arrive, and that was long before she had been thrown out of her window. So they could have busted the door in and arrested this guy. Now, did they do that? No, they did not. The Paris police basically went into an apartment next door and sat there and peed their pants waiting for their version of SWAT to come in and take care of the situation. Well, by the time their version of SWAT came in, it was already over. This woman had already been beaten to death, and thrown outside her third-story window, okay, her third-story apartment. This had already happened. She'd already been killed while the French police sat there and played with themselves, okay? This was a horrible...
It's terrible, Dave. Absolutely beat to death. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. It sends shivers down your spine, doesn't it, Dave?
Yeah, this was a horrible failure of the Paris law enforcement organizations. Horrible failure. And since that time, the French government, the French legal system has done everything they could to try and make this go away, to try and let this guy walk for his horrific act. And he may well walk now because of the excuse that he was smoking marijuana beforehand, and that's why he did it. Not the fact that he had been hyped up by the ideology of Islam to hate everyone that was not a Mohammedan. Guys, we're living in a world right now, and Americans, you need to understand this. The people in the UK, where Jeff is, are living in a country where if you just look at a Mohammedan hard, they can have you hauled in and arrested, and you might spend jail time for racially aggravated harassment. Look at Tommy Robinson.
You could shoot your car horn and be arrested for racially tooting your car horn. We've heard that story before.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Dave said you got to look at them in the wrong way, and then they class you, for the right. It's racist. If you look at you in a racist way, they will haul you in and probably send you to prison. I mean, it's what can you say, David? It's just a crazy time that we live. This has got to be resolved one way or the other. We're all fed up with it, aren't we, David?
Yeah. Contrast. Yeah. Now contrast that, ladies and gentlemen. Contrast that with the fact that the French government is doing everything they can to let a vicious murderer walk. They know he did it. The cops, when they finally did arrive in this woman's apartment and were able to arrest the guy, they know he did it, but they're doing everything they can to let him walk. And this is becoming typical, guys. And my brothers and sisters in the United States, don't think this isn't coming to the United States of America. Look at Omar and all these other Mohammedans that are in Congress going for all this anti-Semitic stuff there. Anti-Semitism in France has grown rampant to the point, as you heard in Avi Yemeni's audio there, where people are moving out for fear of their lives. Well, it's no wonder they have fear of their lives because they get killed, and then the French government does everything they can, spends who knows how much money to make sure that the Mohammedan murderers walk. Okay, this is disgusting, guys, but this is the world we live in. This is why we have to do something about Islam, okay? Because as Dr. Nikolai Sennel said, Jeff, Islam creates monsters. It has nothing to do with skin color, has nothing to do with where you come from, nothing like that. There are plenty, guys, of Arab Christians. There are plenty. There are plenty of there are Arab people who are Jewish. Yes, there are. Arab people who are atheists. Arab people who have other religions. Being an Arab does not make you a Mohammedan, and conversely, being from a non-Arab country does not necessarily make you a Christian or a member of another faith. I could be a Mohammedan. Jeff and I both know all you have to do to be a Mohammedan is to say the Shahada in front of an imam, and boom, you are a Muslim at that point. You are a Mohammedan. So it's not about skin color. It's not about where people come from. And it sure as hell is not about racism, because Islam is not a race. I've got to say this, Jeff, okay? It's not about racism either, because Islam is not a race, okay?
No.
People need to get that through their heads. Islam is not a race.
Ideology. Masquerading as a religion. Let's call it what it is, Dave. It's a total masquerade. It's an ideology. This is... it's quite obvious. Anybody that's studied anything to do with Islam. Well, no. It's total, it's all been mismatched. Yeah. If you look at the Quran, you read the Quran, you will notice, if you use your common sense, you will know this is out of chronological order. It's all messed up. And the reason why it's messed up, because, as I say, there was many jihad battles. A lot of their scholars died amongst these battles, and when they say, well, how do you remember, what was said? Infidel, we remember. We remember, Pastor.
Right,
But
yeah.
I'll tell you what, guys, it's like this, right? This is Islam for you. If I tell you a story today about something, right? Now, you share that story with someone else. And then your person will share with someone else. And by the time that story gets out to, say, 100 people, I guarantee the whole story that I shared with you, everybody has got the wrong end of the stick by the end, because everybody has a different turn of how they share with other people. How can they say that? I'd say it's all out of context. It just doesn't make no sense. And then if you wonder why you get confused when you read it, that is why. That is why. And not only that, just to cover everything I said, Islam is the big lie. Islam is the biggest deceiver. And who is the biggest deceiver? Who is the biggest deceiver? Satan. There you go. I think
there you go. It goes right back to him. Yeah, it does, man. It does, and guys, be assured that we will keep following this story, because it's important to get the truth out there about this. As I say, we've been following this since 2017 when it occurred, and we're going to keep on following this story. Now, Jeff, if you'd like to call back in, I have an audio here to play concerning James Goddard, and Dave, I will do. Give me a couple of minutes, and I'll just read it. So, ladies and gentlemen, some people might be just listening in. I have to call back in every hour or so. It's just the way things are set up. So just any new people know that is the way it is. But don't, go ahead, brother. Say something before I come back, because I want to hear that about James. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Now, for those of you unfamiliar, I'm just going to call back in. For those of you unfamiliar with this case, Anna Soubry is a former conservative member of parliament, and this woman had the tin-plated gall to go on television and call people who are members of the EDL, people who agree with Tommy Robinson, people who, basically anybody she disagrees with, a fascist. She called them fascists. All right. And James Goddard was part of a group of people that led a chant that said that Soubry herself was a Nazi. And given the positions that she holds, I have to agree with that. In fact, I've said on a previous show, she might as well just go ahead and dress up like Eva Braun, because in my opinion, she is a Nazi, all right? But sadly, James Goddard was arrested, and thereby hangs this tale. This comes again from Avi Yemeni. And here you go, guys. You are listening to the English Defense League radio show.
UK Yellow Vest activist James Goddard has pleaded guilty to causing ex-Tory MP Anna Soubry harassment, alarm or distress for calling her a Nazi and a fascist and a traitor when he confronted her for betraying the country's vote to leave the EU.
Right. Apologies if you were offended by what you were listening to.
I just think this is astonishing.
Seriously? He was facing jail time for saying that? Watch how many times I've been called exactly the same thing on camera.
I think you're a fascist.
Stop! Our first street! Nazi stop!
Nazi, so go away.
You're a fascist! Drop dead, you're a fascist! You are the biggest terrorist!
Yeah, you're a fascist, so you have to go.
I'm a Nazi. I'm a proud Jew. You just call me a Nazi.
You're a fascist.
That's just some of them. And I'm proudly wearing my Jew cap when some of these idiots call me a Nazi and a fascist. Now, should I be expecting any of them to be charged? I'm not holding my breath because I know that there's one law for them, another for us. Now, Goddard says that he only admitted guilt in this latest court case to avoid 6 months in prison and branded the entire trial a complete stitch-up. To be honest, I don't blame him. Making a deal by pleading guilty seems to be the only way for innocent people to avoid jail these days. Otherwise, you end up like Tommy Robinson.
And there you go, folks. So, Jeff, your comments.
Well, my comment, what James did, I suppose he thought about it in the cold light of the day and what he was told that he could expect. And, of course, he was probably told, look, if you just plead guilty to it, they'll let you go, sort of thing. So best if you do. He'd probably get a caution or something like that. James looked at it and I thought, well, I don't really want to spend 6 months in prison. But, and of course he pleaded guilty to harassing that horrible, disgusting Nazi, Anna Soubry. Listen, I'm probably going to get done for it now. I don't care because she's horrible. Horrible person. But as I say, James did it, and the thing that I think that James probably overlooked, actually, or might not. No, James, he's a very intelligent gentleman. But the only trouble now is he's got a prison record. He's got a criminal record now.
Mm-hmm.
So any future activities, they could draw that, and then they could come down heavy on any other activity. So you see how they weigh things up. We'll have him one way or the other. You see? So I don't blame James. I'll be honest with you. You know, if you're put in that situation, it's all about survival. It's all about doing the right things and looking forward to your freedom. That's it. I haven't really got too much more to say except that James now has got something they can hold over him, a criminal record, basically, because he's admitted it. Yeah.
And that is it for this time. Next time, part 3. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye. The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2019. Anno Domini. Now for Dave's Canes. Extras that help you navigate the new media world.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.